Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another installation of the Coach Paul series where we VOD review players playing in the Overwatch Champion series and talk about what makes them the best players in the world on their heroes, how they're able to stay so consistent on the maps. And I'm so excited because today, North America region, as well as Europe, Middle Eastern, and North African region kicked off their group stages, which means we got some more banger Overwatch matches to go over for you guys. And we're going to be starting it off with my home region, the North American region. And there was some insane matches played today. Probably the most exciting one was these two teams right here. Some Overwatch League legends on the left, some Contenders legends on the right, but it's all one competition now, the Overwatch Champion Series. And spoiler alert, they went to a map 5. And even further spoiler, these previous Contenders legends were able to upset the Overwatch League legends. Such talent existed in Contenders. It was awesome to watch. Now they're all playing together. I'm excited to get into it, as I said. And today we're going to be kicking it off with one of my favorite Contenders players, maybe all time, Rokit on the Tracer. Was actually able to play in the Pro-Am that they had for the Overwatch League, where Contenders teams were able to face Overwatch League teams. And he was honestly one of the most hyped players coming out of that. Played really well on the Tracer. I know they were able to take some maps. I don't remember if they actually won any matches specifically against Overwatch League teams, but he looked so phenomenal on that Tracer against the best of the best. So I'm excited to break that down for you guys today. Let's get into it. But first, one quick note, a little bit about the metas before we get into Rokit's Tracer is we've watched some Korean players, done some VOD reviews of them. You can find that in the playlist below, Coach Paul. We're going to be doing players from all the regions, but over here in this North American region, there's actually a different meta breaking out. We're seeing a lot of Ramatra played, as well as even some Sigma. So more of a brawly style with the Ramatra, just a little bit of poke with the Sigma coming out. Interesting to see. We've had previous iterations of Overwatch League and Contenders where different metas are played in the different regions. They've made it to LAN before, and traditionally, one meta has risen to the top and just been superior meta. Be interesting to see when these regions make it to the regional LANs, what meta is going to come out on top. But for today, we're just going to be reviewing Rokit's Tracer because he is so good in that hero. Excited to talk about what makes him just so good, how he thinks about the hero, how he plays the matchup here on this flashpoint. But one of the things that I've noticed and that I imagine about this meta is Rico is kind of a tough support to fight straight up as Tracer because you have solo HP. The headshot's so devastating. She can TP away, she can Suzu herself, and with a Lucio on top of it to like speed her away, be like an anchor point for the TP to if needed to get her out of these sticky situations. It's not really a meta. I imagine we're going to be straight up fighting the supports straight up, like going for a pick onto the back line too frequently unless they don't have the Shuzu and someone's low. I imagine, and we'll see how Rokit goes about it here because he's a much better Tracer than I will ever imagine being. See how he approaches it, but I imagine you're not going to see a ton of going straight up onto the back line looking for picks. We're going to be playing more here for a cooldown advantage in some way in this competition, or in this compositional matchup. Another thing that you'll notice about these very high-level Tracer players, basically across the board, is that they value their recalls so heavily. You're not going to see him play super aggressive, try and pump out a little bit of damage, and trade that for his recall. His recall is worth more than basically anything in these fights. You won't see him put himself in a situation where he gets forced to use it early. And along those lines, you can see him here just poking, and now that he does have a recall advantage, he's able to look for that Tracer and help his team get the finish on that. Don't think they're going to be able to win the fight off it though. Lucio's one shot, so that is a time where you would go for some damage and then a blink melee to get the finish. Goes low to the Lucio, but seems like they're just down a little bit of numbers in this fight. That is still pretty solid progress. Let's see how they approach the refight. Here they don't want to stagger at whatsoever in the in the retake, because on these flashpoints, if you stagger even just one kill, you can end up losing the entire point. So wants to ensure they get a good full regroup.
This ends now.
Now they're all things. He's just gonna play super safe. Not gonna allow him shot. Didn't even have the chance of getting one shot. Does have his pulse bomb up though in this next fight. So we'll see how he utilizes that. Take this duel on the Tracer here. Just try and force them back. Doesn't want them to play that flank uncontested. Forces them out early. Stays watching it. Good move there. In this meta, sort of the best hero to mark the Tracer, so to mark Rokit himself, or on Pelican's side, to mark Pelican, is the Tracer, the other team's Tracer player. So Rokit doing his due diligence there to not let the Tracer like dominate the flank, which is where Tracer is so potent. Playing a flank, coming in, sneaking in for kills, for forcing cooldowns and all of that. So doing his good work to mark their Tracer on the flank. The other hero that is somewhat decent at it, as you kind of saw in that first fight, is Opener, or excuse me, the other team's Lucio, Opener, or Lep, booping away the other Tracer, keeping damage onto them so they can't go full crazy mode. But above that, the Tracer is the best hero to mark the other Tracer. So you're going to see a lot of that matchup. In this matchup is the two Tracers kind of dueling for a resource advantage. Most crucially, like I said, the recall. Insane tracking and a melee finish onto Pelican to get the can they oh and they that's an insane stick actually. That's so good from him. Now they have the beat advantage. It's so good. Try to focus the lap. They've certainly won off that. That was a really good set of plays from him. Because sort of for two reasons there. One, Lucio beat, the best beat is the second beat. Always, always, always. Because when your beat runs out, when the other team's beat runs out, you'll still have a little bit of your beat left to take the fight with. So there he played for the recall advantage that I've been talking about a lot. That's such a key part of this matchup. Was able to shoot with melee finish Pelican on the Tracer, and then hit a huge stick onto the tank, forcing them low, which forced the other team, M80, to use their beat first, and that gave his team a huge advantage, like I said, because then they had the second beat, which is, like I said, having the second beat is just so good over the other beat, because like I said, when their beat runs out, you'll still have shields left. You can go way more aggressive with that. Let's see how he sets up in this pre-fight here, playing on the flanks. I love this little move from him here. We'll watch it one more time. It is such a subtle little peek here that he takes. Look at this. Gets a decent damage out and then comes right back. He could stay out and shoot another clip there, but with Tracer's low HP pool, he's such at risk of getting one shot, getting a ton of damage traded back onto him, and getting his recall forced way too early. So he's just gonna peek a little bit, take his advantage in HP, and then hide behind the wall. He also saw like 4 people there who would surely turn on him. That's such a small detail, but it's so important to not have your resources forced too early. That he peeks, does a little damage, and then fully backs. So he's not fighting 4 people on that angle, but also does not take any damage basically at all on that peak, and stays full. And that's going to enable him to stay active in the fight. Great attempt on the stick there. Coming from the angle where he wasn't watched, allowed him to get a really good opportunity at a stick. Just doesn't hit it, but still a good attempt for that reason. A quick detail here, we'll watch it one more time really quickly, is he's just not going to fight early, this Kiriko out. Goes for the stick, and is just going to hide from the Kiriko out behind this wall. That's so important, because as I've said before in my previous reviews, in this meta, Kiriko and Lucio are pretty much universally the most played supports, the best supports in the current patch, and basically every region is playing them. And above that, Kiriko ult is probably the best ult in the game. Pretty undisputed. You could ask probably like all the pros, pull 100 of them, they would all say Kiriko is just the best. You don't want to fight it until his tank dies here. You're gonna see that, and then it's basically just like I have to go in desperate for like a one clip to kind of trade it back because they're not winning versus that Kiriko ult. The ult is just too good. But basically plays his life and his resources so well there to get max value. You're just gonna lose some fights to a Kiriko ult when you don't have yours in this meta. That's just the truth. See how they play the retake. Interesting to see which angles tries to come back on here. Likes this left flank, kind of keeps coming back to it when it's not being watched, and this is so good from him. He's avoiding being mocked, like I said, by their Tracer and finding his own space on that flank. And now, for the first time, you're going to see him go like super crazy aggressive, and that's because he has a beat of his own. Thomas going to beat first in this situation. Somewhat to match the railgun here and try and push back into them for a refight. And because he has that beat, his number one weak point as Tracer, which is getting one shot, has been eliminated. So he's able to go super crazy aggressive in that moment and just pump out a ton of damage. He's gonna take the full beat,
it's go time.
Use both of his blanks, and then at the last second, use his recall to get like the max value out of it. Now his teammate, his previous contender's teammate, Chopper, going crazy to carry that fight, and they do get the flip, but still very good from Rokit to kind of play max advantage out of all of his resources and get a lot of work done, although falling to Pelican. Now this fight has his post bomb back up, so he's been farming that back up rather quickly. Tracer, a hero that just has fast ult charge, build up, is able to kind of poke on the flanks, trade up that damage, and get it really quickly. Playing super safe here when he doesn't have his recall, and taking those few seconds behind the pillar to wait, so as he comes back into the fight, he's only 2 seconds off his recall rather than 6. And his team's ulting, so again, another situation where he's able to push in and go aggressive. And that's a reason why you don't fight a Kiriko as Tracer. You just get dinked once and lose all your HP. And then, very simple but smart here from Rokit. His team falling early to, surprise, surprise, the Kiriko ult. But he's just gonna back up and not even try and poke at all, or peek at all rather. Wants to, again, as I said before, ensure that his team gets a good regroup on these flashpoints. Because even, like I said, just staggering one kill can kind of toss your whole flashpoint down the drain, and he's not going to allow himself to do that. Being very careful on this retake. Being very intelligent on this retake. As you can see, he's looking for sort of a flank opportunity. Because if this flank, I imagine on the left, is uncontested, he might go for it, but he already sees 2 players playing aggressive there, including the tank, which signals to him that M80 wants to play aggressively on that side of the map. So what does Rokit do? He's going to relocate and play this other off angle where he will be much less contested. As I mentioned before, he's going to force point. This is a very common strategy on Tracer, is playing, sort of forcing objective, playing on the outskirts of the objective where you can touch, get off, which is going to force the other team into an uncomfortable position on point. And look at Hawk here, getting low HP, forced to block and come and contest the point. He got Shuzu out, he got the Doomfist block out, just because he touched the objective for a few seconds and the other team had to come touch. You're just going to keep forcing this point, playing these safe locations by this wall. It's so crucial, forcing out resources from the enemy as they have to come to point. Now his team has such an advantage from this that they're able to win the fight. It's just left. Able to get the flip. Because Rocker made that early read on the top left, I'm not going to play that flank. There's 2 players there. It's surely contested. I'm going to come bottom right. First point. Play super safe, and I know that's where I'm going to be the most effective and the most successful at getting my team a resource advantage, which is a big part of playing Tracer. Here, this team basically going to rush into their spawn and have success doing it. Again, surprise, surprise, the Kiriko ult is so busted. It's the best ult in the game. Catch them in a spot where they can't kite effectively your Kiriko ult, and you're going to win the fight. For the reasoning of, and this is, again, a Rokit review, we'll talk quickly about the Kiriko ult, which we'll go over probably more detail as we do a Kiriko review later on the channel. As when you pop the Kiriko ult, the effects of it, explained simply for those who are less familiar with it, it lets you, it used to be 2 times. I think they shortened it by a little bit, but it's still so good. You activate, you shoot faster, you activate all of your abilities at a faster rate, your abilities regenerate at a faster rate, your cooldowns. So you're basically playing the game at 2 times speed while your opponents are on 1 time speed. Like, what? That's so freaking good, guys. That's so strong. You cannot beat that ult straight up unless you have your own Kiriko ult. And even ult for ult, like ulting into theirs, can be so dangerous. So the only real effective method is kiting it. Sometimes you can beat it, but even that's, like I said, super dangerous. So Kiriko ult, super strong. You don't want to fight it. Here they had the Kiriko ult advantage, so they ulted into their spawn in a way where they couldn't kite it. And Rokit just taking advantage of his team, using that advantage, and they basically won a free fight off of it. So this is a Rokit review, but just want to explain why the Kiriko ult is so good, because you're going to see me talk about that a lot in these reviews. Again, playing this bottom right here, away from where the M80 players want to play so aggressively, he's able to just find his own spot here and just forcing them to point again, fighting the players on point, and then again focusing the players on point, forcing them to use their resources while he hasn't had to use his recall yet. He got Tracer's recall for free by just playing this very safe angle on bottom left, forcing them to point, and then fighting them on point when they have to be in the open for that advantage. Oh, and that's the game right there. That is such an impactful stick when both teams have their beat to stick the Lucio. Not the craziest stick I've ever seen in terms of skill, but certainly the most high impact one you might be able to land. Sticking their Lucio, noticing he's a little isolated from the Kiriko, finding that timing where he can't get Shuzu'd, hitting the stick, and that's going to win them the map here. As he took their beat out of the fight, Opener was able to beat for their team, and that's your advantage. And he's just been so methodical, not doing anything too aggressive on this Tracer throughout the map, but getting a lot of value, again, by playing these safe angles on the bottom left, and then poking them on point. If they're going to go right, I'm going to go left, just poke a little bit, force them to answer me while not getting my recall forced, backing up when they aggress me, and just playing for a resource advantage. I talked about this a ton in this video, but it's so important on Tracer. You're basically managing your resources and trading those for as much of the enemy's resources as you can get. If you can force a Shizu, that's insane. If you can force the other Tracer to recall, that's insane. Then you have a resource advantage. That's when you can go aggressive and look for your one clips, look for your high damage moments, and he's done that so well. And at the very end there, you saw an insane pop-off moment where he was able to, again, play that bottom left, force Tracer's recall, and then find a moment where he's uncontested, go in for the stick that ended the match, killed their beat, we have beat advantage, we win the game. And Rokit's been such an insane Tracer player for years. Never, like I said, got a shot in Overwatch League, but as you can see here, was certainly good enough. That's going to do it for this proper Tracer review. We're going to be doing more reviews, probably going to be uploading 2 or 3 a week, hopefully, if I can find time to edit. I'm pretty busy with work, but I love doing these videos, love breaking down these players. So we're going to keep uploading, hopefully at least 2, maybe 3 a week of these Overwatch CS players. There's so much talent out there. We're going to be covering all the regions, guys. I'm so excited to get into it. I have to go backtrack a little bit, do a few Japanese players in that Asia region, playing the Japan series over there, trying to make it to land. I want to cover little bit from each regions, all the metas, all the players. Let me know in the comments below if there's specific players you want to see. I did a proper review. I did a fin review. We're going to be doing more players going forward. Thanks so much for watching. If you watched, I love getting out this educational content. I love Overwatch. And this new era of Overwatch, while not the same as Overwatch League, is so exciting. Please give us a thumbs up. Give us a like if you like the content. Leave your feedback below. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing better. Some people were commenting about the amount of pauses in the video. I try to cut that down on this one. Keep it more flowing. I'm constantly working to make these better, make these as good as possible. If you want to follow along, make sure to subscribe so you can see all of the videos. I'm going to be doing a little bit of every hero that's getting played, a little bit of all the metas, and a little bit of all the regions. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your week. 안녕히 가세요. Goodbye.